Most business owners blame failure on cash flow issues, marketing mistakes, lack of funding, and unfair competition. But after coaching over 70 business owners, I've discovered something very different. You see, the number one mistake that destroys nearly half of small businesses in the first 5 years is really bad culture. Hi, I'm Amir, and in the next 12 minutes, I'll show you how bad cultures quietly destroys small businesses, and I'll share 5 proven tactics that companies like Netflix, Google, and Bridgewater turn culture into their biggest advantage. For me, culture is like breathing. It is always there. When the air is fresh and crisp, we feel alive, energized, truly at our best. But when the air is polluted, full of smoke, smog, or fire, we feel like we are suffocating. Culture works the same way. When it's great, we want more of it. But when it's toxic, we just want to leave, just escape it. As Ben Horowitz put it in his book, "What you do is who you are." Your culture is how your company makes decisions when you're not there. And Simon Sinek in Leaders Eat Last, explaining it this way: when you give people a circle of safety, they will naturally take care of each other, the customer, and the company. The culture of a company is like a character of a person. It defines everything: your team's decisions, actions, and behaviors. And if that character is flawed or bad, it shows in poor decision, wrong actions, and toxic behaviors. Soon enough, everyone leaves. Employees, customers, vendors, and your business end is just around the corner. Before we jump into the tactics of building great culture, let's look at the opposite. Several years ago, I coached an owner of a design company who kept losing his best people. His attitude was, if they don't want to be here, let them leave. I asked a simple question: is it really better if they leave? Well, the answer is obvious. Losing great people is always a problem. Toxic environments, like the one he was, unknowingly really creating, push people out. Remember the Great Resignation during the pandemic? At that time, a record number of US employees just quitted their job. And at MIT analyzed 34 million US workers and found that toxic culture was 10 times more predictive than pay in driving people to quit. And if you run a small business, turnover can be devastating. Every departure means lost knowledge, heavier workload, higher stress, and months of expensive recruiting. It can really destroy your business. But not everyone is leaving. Some stay and just do less. Toxic culture destroys engagement. Gallup studies 3 million employees across 100,000 business units and found that highly engaged teams deliver 23% higher profitability and up to 43% lower turnover. Let's invert this. A bad culture can drive turnover up 40%. If you run a small business or a startup, what will losing 40% of your employees means to you? I'm sure you have been, and I have been, in meetings where the loudest voices yelled shame and just shut everyone down. When this happens, nobody speaks up and innovation just dies. Google learned this kind of like the hard way. A decade ago, in their famous Project Aristotle study, they found that the number one factor of high-performing teams wasn't IQ, experience, or resources. It was psychological safety. The feeling that you won't be punished for speaking up. Without it, ideas disappear, curiosity hides, and growth just stops. A few years ago, I coached an executive at a fintech startup where stress was truly the culture. Every meeting was explosive, backstabbing, lies, emotional manipulation. It was all part of the culture. That person started to take blood pressure medicine He had horrific headaches, felt sick all the time. Every promotion resulted in upping his medicine dosage. And then one day, he ended in ER with chest pains. He's not alone. A Stanford study estimated that workplace stress contributes to $190 billion in healthcare costs and 120,000 deaths a year in the US. A toxic culture that does not make people stronger, it just makes them sick. A few years ago, I had an issue with the platform that I subscribed to, and I contacted support, spoke with the person. I know, crazy. That person was a cheerful, helpful support rep. What an amazing experience. Now imagine that the same rep stuck in a toxic environment. How do you think that call would go? Many business owners chase customer loyalty through faster service, better discounts, or new features. These are all great, but they will not matter if your team is miserable. PwC found that 59% of customers will just walk away after just a few bad experiences. So who do you want on the other side of the call? A burned out, disengaged employees, or someone energized by this great culture? Toxic culture drives turnover, kills productivity, damages your employee health, and leads to your business collapse. But there is some good news. The opposite is also true. A strong culture can become your biggest advantage. If building the right culture as you scale is important to you, I just love to help guide you in that process. There's a link in the description where you can see how we can work together to grow your business without breaking it. Bad business culture is like a bad penny. It always shows up. You can hide it for a while, but eventually it will resurface. So the key to creating a great culture is building the right structure. That structure promotes the right people, taking the right actions, and showing, the right behaviors. It's like a flywheel. Great encouraged behavior spreads, leading to remarkable actions, stronger trust, loyalty, and satisfaction for your team and, yes, your customers. So how do we do it? The first step is setting non-negotiable behaviors for your business. Not, vague values like integrity. You need clear principles and expectation. As Ray Dalio said in Principles, if you don't have principles that you can rely on, you will probably make bad decisions. And Netflix spelled it out in No Rules. Instead of fluffy slogans, they codified behaviors like, say what you think with positive intent. Here's what you can do today. Write down 5-7 behaviors that define success in your company. For example, we disagree openly, but commit fully once a decision is made. Most important, make these behaviors part of your hiring, promotions, and performance reviews. As Warren Buffett said, the best employee is a person with high energy, integrity, and intelligence. And if they don't have integrity, you better hope that they are lazy and dumb. Most companies only hire for skills. That's a mistake. And as Ben Horowitz shows in What You Do Is Who You Are, a brilliant performer who undermines culture costs more than they contribute. Sometimes as much as 30% of first-year earnings. What can you do today? Design 10 or 20 interview questions that test for values and behavior alignment with your non-negotiables. Use real scenarios from your company. Ask every candidate the same questions. For example, if humility is a key behavior, ask, tell me about a time that you were wrong. What did you do next? This question will lead you to hire for culture fit and not just skills. Remember Project Aristotle? The number one factor of successful teams wasn't IQ or experience, it was psychological safety. Without it, employees hide mistakes, blame others, and growth just stalls. as Simon Sinek put it in Leaders Eat Last. When we feel safe among the people with whom we work, we will naturally combine our talents and do amazing things. What can you do today? This one truly starts with you. The feeling of safety starts with everyone seeing your behavior. You can show it by, normalize mistakes. Host here's what I learned sessions, where you and other leaders go first. Admit when you don't know. Say, I don't know, or I was wrong. What do you think we should do? And speak last in meeting. That was always a hard one for me. But give your team the space first. Leaders, speak last. On top of this, I encourage many of my clients and managers on my teams to ask their team members these two questions frequently. The first one is, on a scale of 1 to 5, how safe do you feel to take risks or admit mistakes? And the second one, what do you need from me to be successful? You will be quite surprised by the answers. Charlie Munger once said, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. You see, incentives drives action that will drive, you're right, outcome. Assume you're incentivized the sales teams for volume. They will push quantity, even at a loss to the business, because that's what they incentivize for. And who cares about client satisfaction? They're incentivized for volume, not satisfied clients. Great cultures align incentives with behaviors. At Netflix, freedom and responsibility are core values. So they eliminated vacation and expense approval policies. But they held people accountable for judgment. So freedom is given, but misuse has consequences. What can you do today? So one thing you can do is to create a peer-to-peer recognition system. Reward people not just for results, but for behaviors like honesty or collaboration. So high performers that work against your culture by being, arrogant or, jerks, they will not be recognized. Tie those rewards back to profits so cultures show up in paychecks, not just in posters. Culture is like a habit. It lives in repeated behaviors and shared languages, not in slogans or memos. Amazon had this ritual in key meeting. Jeff Bezos left one chair empty to represent the customer's voice. And in one of my favorite companies, Pixar, who has brain trust sessions for every project. In these sessions, peers give candid feedback about story ideas. Remember the movie Up? The original idea was about these two royal brothers in a floating kingdom that kept fighting all the time. They end up falling to earth, where a massive bird helped them learn to understand each other. After the brain trust feedback, the only thing that left in the movie were Kevin, yes, the bird, and the name Up. What can you do today? Here are ideas for setting ritual. Number one can be hosting monthly open Q&A with you, the owner. The second one can be Friday win meetings to celebrate, winning. And the third idea can be just finding more about team member personality to enable better communication. I hope these ideas and tactics will help you build your own business very meaningful culture. So let's see what we covered. Bad culture is really, bad, toxic, intolerable. Seriously, bad culture can destroy your business by driving costly turnover, killing engagement, endangering psychological safety and crushing innovation, spreading stress and health costs, and reducing client trust. But great culture protects and grow your business by defining non-negotiable behavior, hiring the right people, creating psychological safety, aligning incentives and accountability, and codifying principles and ritual. So instead of destroying your business, your health, and your employees' future, create one that makes it remarkable. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more ideas on scaling your business and avoiding costly mistakes. Until next time, may you live a remarkable life.